you thought it was going to rain, hence the rain boots. Like,
it's stylish.
Yeah. It works.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Offord. I'm the superintendent here at Hopewell National Historical Park. Started here a little over a year ago, and all I can say is, wow, what a great year it's been for the park, the state of Ohio, the National Park Service, the United States, and the world. Now, I'd like to welcome all of our distinguished guests here today, our tribal leaders, our representatives, our very supporting public, our friends, and our family. Today is a very important day that we're commemorating. We are here to commemorate the inscription of Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks as the United States' 25th World Heritage Site and Ohio's first. Thank you for being here to share this special day with us. Now I'm going to turn the podium over to Jen Altman to lead us through the journey of these guest speakers that we have for you today.
Thank you so much, Chris. You are a beautiful sight. Thank you for being here today. It's such a wonderful day, and I know you're eager to hear from the many distinguished speakers we have behind me. So I just want to thank you for all of those who have traveled near and far, as people have for a very long time, to come to these places. It's a special place, a place that's always been a destination, and we thank you for making the journey with us today. And it's really my true honor to introduce our first guest, who's going to do a blessing for us. Scott Miller is the language coordinator and the former governor of the absentee Shawnee tribe. And we are truly blessed to have him here with us today. So,
Thank you, Kim. If y'all would please stand, I'm going to say a few words in our Shawnee language. And when I say this blessing, I want y'all to think about our relatives that are in the military and overseas, and we want to keep them out of harm's way, keep them safe. So if y'all will, just bear with me a few minutes. And Hini no ki yesi wapaki, ni chagi yape. Ki kato wamale kila medeta mi weta, uskiji kikini hasiski pe. Ke wisiki mi pe, ni natuta. Hakwele tiwe, uwela kutiwe, chine, wisiki tehewe. Kisiteleta, jankiwe hi hoskitam kwe. Nyawe metelemi weta. Huwe kitema, wenike, jankila kutio kwe. Kinileki, nyawe. So I'll try to interpret that just real quick. Now again, we all together, we ask for your guidance, Great Spirit of Mother Earth. Encourage us to embrace love, peace, and hope. Bless all things on earth. Thank you, Creator, and now take pity on all my relations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's a really wonderful thing to hear the Shawnee language spoken here today, so thank you. And so we have a number of wonderful speakers for you today. The first is our keynote speaker, and she's a person that some of you know and some of you don't yet know, but you will in a few minutes. It's my great honor to introduce Chief Glenna Wallace. Chief Wallace was first elected chief of the Eastern Shawnee tribe in 2006. She was the first female in her family to graduate from high school and college, and she's the first female chief of her nation. Prior to election as chief, she served for 38 and a half years as an instructor, department chair, division chair, director of travel, and interim dean at Crowder College in Yosho. And during that time, I should say in Missouri, not everyone knows, during which time she traveled to World Heritage Sites across the globe. Currently, she serves on several boards and is the secretary of the Intertribal Council, consisting of 9 tribes in Northeast Oklahoma. And under her leadership, the Eastern Shawnee have made important progress in the infrastructure and programs that support tribal citizens. She's also led progress here in Ohio, in the homelands, through her leadership and her persistence, and I will say her incredible patience with us sometimes, and her remarkable grace. She's been a leading force in seeking World Heritage List inscription for the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks for well over a decade. And she was with us in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, when the inscription happened. And she spoke in front of the World Heritage Committee on behalf of the U.S. delegation. If you ever get a chance to see that video, you should watch it. And so there was not a dry eye in the room that day. And Chief Wallace has that effect on people. So for me personally, I am very honored to say that Chief Wallace is a mentor and friend. And so please help me welcome Chief Glenna Wallace to the podium for our keynote address.
It's my pleasure to be here today, and it's an even greater pleasure to see so many of you here today. For you to, perhaps, if you haven't been here before, to become aware of the magnificence of this place. You know, when we talk about the magnificence of this place, I don't deserve the credit that Jen gives me. There are many people. I've been on this road since 2007. So yes, since 2007, that's several years. But there are those who have been working on this even longer. And I don't know if any of them are here today or not, but I want to give credit to those that started before I ever came on board. A gentleman by the name of Dick Shields. Dick was the director of their Newark Earthworks. They have a campus site of Oklahoma State University, and so he was the director of the Newark campus there. Dick Shields is the one who marveled, and he's non-native, but he marveled at the earthworks there, and he made contact with Cahokia Mounds, knowing that their attendance had increased significantly in the last few years when Dick was there, and he wondered why. And he was told that it was because Cahokia had become a World Heritage Site. So it was Dick Shields who started, and I think Dick is in Michigan still vacationing at a home that he has there, but his name needs to be mentioned over and over again. Another person was Marty Tot-Smith, and Marty Tot-Smith is from Oklahoma, but has been here in Ohio for a long, long time, and she is the assistant director there at Newark Earthworks, and Marty is the one who has taught all of us and led us all along the way. And then there are people that may be here, so wave your arms wildly. Jeff Gill. Jeff Gill has been involved right over here from the beginning, long before I was involved. And Christine Ballinger Morris, I don't know if she happens to be here today or not, but we need to give recognition to these people because they've been tireless. And we aren't finished yet. We've had the inscription, but we haven't finished yet. And so I want to start off by saying we are here near Chillicothe. Dick Shields wrote about a friend of mine who is no longer living, one who did not make this entire journey, unfortunately, and he's a former park ranger by the name of Bruce Lombardo. Bruce Lombardo passed away a few years ago, but Bruce Lombardo used to talk about this place, and this is what he had to say. Bruce Lombardo said, if Julius Caesar had sent a delegation to North America, they would have come to Chillicothe. Stop and think about that. If Julius Caesar had sent a delegation to North America, they would have gone to Chillicothe. That means that this place was the center of North America, the center of culture, the center of happenings, the center for Native Americans, the center for religion, the center for spirituality, the center for love, the center for peace, here in Chillicothe. And that is what Chillicothe represents today, and what these mounds here represent today. You are indeed in the place of spectacular creations. I've been asked why I like these particular mounds here, because, as you well know, or I hope you know, 8 were nominated for World Heritage Site, and 8 have been inscribed. But there are many reasons that I like this place, Chillicothe. One of my favorites is that when we talk about mounds, mounds were built, mounds were created, mounds were constructed by Native Americans who loved Mother Earth. And Mother Earth they brought with them. And they came by waterways, they came by canoes. So all of the earthworks have some water near them, but this is the place where the water is most accessible. This is the place where you can walk to easily. And I love to walk down to the Scioto River, which is just right down here. And I can stand there, and it's almost as though I can see them coming down that river, coming in those canoes. And then as I see them, it's almost as though I can feel their presence. And so then I get discouraged when I think, this has been a long journey. When I think about that, it's down to the Scioto, if I'm here, that I want to go. Some of you may want to stay in the gift shop, and that's fine. That's fine. But I want to go down to the Scioto, and I want to stand there, and I want to take it all in. And I feel better. I feel enriched. I feel a kinship with my predecessors, with my ancestors. And that's what this is all about, our ancestors. So that's one of the reasons that I love here. But I also love it here because of the name Chillicothe. There's more than one Chillicothe for Native Americans. And the Chillicothe, it means this is the great place. This is the leading place. This is the place of our chiefs, of our leaders. This is the place of culture. This is the place where you become in contact with Native Americans. And so you have that name, Chillicothe. So it's always enriching to come here. But a special reason that I love this place. I will be 85 years of age next month. I have been Native American my entire life. I have read book after book. I have read magazine after magazine. I have read paper after paper. And unfortunately, the word that I have heard my entire life to describe my ancestors has been a word that I detest, and is savages. Savages. Unfortunately, it's still in the textbooks today. Unfortunately, we still hear it and read it today. But it was here, right up there in that building, that I was attending a conference. And there was a man who is present here today, and is here most of the time, Dr. Brett Ruby. And Dr. Brett Ruby was giving a lecture, and he was giving a slideshow, and he was showing the 18.6 lunar aspect of here, and talking about all of the things, the skills that the people had, the mastery of mathematics, the mastery of astronomy, the mastery of of architecture, almost being civil engineers, the master of loving and respecting and taking care of Mother Earth, the mastery of art, of aesthetics. And he said, these people were geniuses. I cried. It was the first time in my life that I had ever heard my ancestors referred to as geniuses. Well, you know, they might have called me a savage, but I will never forget the impact of that day. And now I read this dossier, and I read these articles that are written, and I read the very first requirement, the very first possibility of being a World Heritage Site, and it is, it has to be a place of genius. And that's what this is. I love this place because of knowing Dr. Bradley and knowing the contribution that he made to this. In addition, there are other aspects of this place that I love. There are 24 mounds here, so you're not here to see just one mound. And there's 400 years difference between the first one built here and the last one built here. So this was not a temporary place. This was not a place where they just came, spent a few days, and then left. 400 years in this one place that can be documented. So it's not a fleeting culture whatsoever. And we are here today, many on this front row, survivors having the same ancestors. Never do I say that the Shawnees were responsible for building these mounds. Our ancestors are all Native Americans. So whatever tribe you are, you should have the pride today because it was our ancestors, our geniuses who built these places. I rarely ever use notes. I rarely ever use quotations. But this is a quotation from a Delaware. And it says, when you begin a great work, you can't expect to finish it all at once. Jeff Hill knows what that means. When you begin a great work, you can't expect to finish it all at once. Therefore, do you and your brothers press on and let nothing discourage you till you have entirely finished what you have begun. We have begun a tremendous work, and we have finished one aspect of it, but we have not entirely finished. We still have work to do. You have work to do, and you are part of this now. You need to come and visit these places. You need to tell other people about them. You need to respect them. You need to have a reverence for them. I have another quote that is from a Creek proverb, and it states, "We warm our hands by the fires, but we did not build. We eat the fruit of trees, that we did not plant. We drink from the wells, that we did not dig. And we stand upon the shoulders of giants." I'm going to change that. We stand upon the shoulders of geniuses, uncommon geniuses who have gone before us. That's what we are here about today. And so I salute all of you, because it's not been one person who has done this. It has not been one organization that has done this. It has been a team of so many people, and it's impossible for me to say who all of those people are. But I want to say we all need to work together to finish this work and to let the world know. And so, you know, Chris was brave enough to actually say, these are some talking points you need to do. And so his talking points that I am looking at now, his talking points say, what does this national and global recognition mean to you? It means that now I'm not the only person who hears that our ancestors were geniuses. It means that the world now knows, the world now has exposure to this place, and they are indeed places of geniuses. And And then he says, what does it mean for the Shawnee people and or American Indian people? I think it means the same for all of us. We've all been proud of who we are, and now there's a greater pride. There's a pride of we have provided evidence. It's not just something that we felt, we have believed it. And so to John Hancock, Brett Ruby, Brett Pepper, all of those who worked on that magnificent manuscript that was the dossier, you have told and people have access to know how great the American Indian people are. And then it says, how will this designation affect the next generation of American Indian people? Well, I'm hoping that there will be textbooks that they can read about what the United States happened here and what has happened to Native Americans. And I'm hoping that they will have access to come and see these places because we have not destroyed them. That's what started me on this journey the entire time. When the Indian Removal Act was passed in 1830, it was my tribe, located on the reservation, Lewistown, Ohio, and it was my tribe that signed the first treaty. My tribe that was forcibly removed, the first, along with the Seneca. We were on a reservation together known as the Mixed Band. It was our bands who had the first to die as we walked every step of the way from Ohio through Indiana, through Illinois, through Missouri, onto Indian territory, between 700 and 800 miles. It was our tribe that when we first arrived, our chiefs were out begging for food because the people were starving. And so I hope that 7th and 8th graders, the next generation, will know that. But I hope that they will never have to experience being called savage. I hope that the world recognizes the geniuses that we have in front of us. And so it says, how can the communities and the schools that live near the earthworks be better stewards of these sacred places? You can treat them with love. You can treat them with respect. You can honor them. You can make sure that they are preserved. You can visit them. You can write about them. And you can feel the genius that they had in order to accomplish this. We have many customs in our culture. And one of the customs that we have is we have something that we refer to as a giveaway. And a giveaway occurs in many different situations. Sometimes it occurs when we want to honor a person. Sometimes it occurs when we are at powwows and we want to introduce a person. Sometimes it occurs when somebody has done something for us and we just want to give them something to honor for what they have done. We can have all types of giveaways today. We live in a society that is not the best anymore. We live in a society that has far more negativity than we should have. And so we can practice giveaways every single day. We can practice giveaways with honoring people. We can practice giveaways by honoring people. We can practice giveaways by talking nicely about people and pointing out their strong points rather than criticizing them and talking about their weak points. And we can honor with giveaways by doing exactly what we do. One of the greatest honors that we can do is to honor the people who have lived a life that is worthy and who have been examples for us. And so we want to give away something right now to Jen Alton. So Sherry Clemens is going to come forward. Sherry is at the lineup. And Jen, if we could ask you to come forward. Fire was always important to us. We used fire in different ways. We would never have survived had it not been for fire. It kept us warm. It made it possible for us to cook food. It made it possible for us to preserve. It made it possible for us to keep animals at bay by the nighttime. It made it possible for us to forge our weapons, to strength and so forth. With fire, the most important part is that fire created smoke. And smoke was the way that we sent our prayers to heaven. And smoke was the way that we told told people that we love them and that we honor them. And so today, in the modern world that we live in, we don't build fires all the time. And so we have blankets that we bestow upon people that we honor and that we love and that we respect. And we say those blankets contain that warmth, that love, that prayer, that fire that we talked about in the beginning. And so today, we want to wrap. And in my culture, we say we are wrapping you in love, we are wrapping you in honor, because we do honor you. So for all of the work that Jim Altman has done throughout this time, we wrap you in love with Native American Pendleton Roses. Give her a hand. As far as me being in Riyadh and receiving the honor of being there to have the World Heritage inscribed for us, it was the most unusual experience. They were wonderful to us. They treated us like royalty the entire time. But we watched the nominations of some other places. And one of those nominations we watched, it took 2 hours. They have what they call comments, and so there are 21 different countries who vote upon the decision as to whether a place will be given its inscription. And the comments are usually the form of questions or saying, you haven't clarified this, or we disagree with this, or why is this? And so the comments went on, and those 21 people have to comment. And then they sometimes make amendments. That went on for 2 hours. Ultimately, it came our turn. And many of you say that you set your clocks and you got up, or you stayed up all night long to watch that. For 15 seconds, it was exhilarating. Because our entire process took less than 3 minutes. So for 15 seconds, I was thrilled. And then for the other 1 minute and 45 seconds, I was, well, this is so disappointing. We've worked so hard, so long, and there's so many people sitting out here that I know they haven't read all of that, and they don't know how great we are. We want to tell them that, but they wouldn't give us that chance. And then they even had the audacity to tell me that I could speak for 2 minutes. I can't do anything in 2 minutes. You know, I've hurt my knee. I can't even get up here in 2 minutes. But after you are told that you have been received that designation, then people come by and they shake your hands and they congratulate you. Again, congratulations to all who worked on this, because I had person after person tell me this is the best nomination that has been submitted in years and years and years. So you give a round of applause to those people who did all that work to get that work. And then I am equally proud of the fact that I have seen so many changes in Ohio in this last 10 years. So much progress and so much acceptance and so much recognition of what the Native Americans did. And I am so pleased with that. And I am so thankful to Governor DeWine for leading that and for being so supportive of us, for that 76th state park, for that interpretive center that is being built there. It is just fabulous. It should be finished next year, and I encourage all of you to go and see that. And Governor DeWine, we have a blanket for you in Oklahoma. You ain't gonna get it until you come there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Well, that was a surprise. So I don't know. You guys knew I was cold, so I'd be happy to share that with you when I sit back down. Thank you for that. It's truly been an incredible journey and project, and it's not over. So, and as Chief Wallace said, we've had tremendous support from all over the place, including from the governor's office. And so it's my distinct honor to welcome another lifelong public servant to the podium, and that's Ohio Governor Mike DeWine. Governor and Mrs. DeWine are tremendous supporters of this project, and as Chief Wallace also mentioned, the Great Council State Park, Ohio's newest park, newest state park. They've been working with the 3 federally recognized Shawnee tribes that will open very soon. And so we're really blessed in Ohio to have a governor and first lady who are true history lovers, and they are also the grandparents of 27 grandchildren. So they understand the importance of sharing true and accurate histories with the next generation and passing those stories on. So please join me in welcoming Governor DeWine to the podium.
Jen, thank you very much. Jen, thank you for all the work that you have done to get us to this moment. And Chief, Fran and I are coming to Oklahoma, and it won't be long. We appreciate very, very much the invitation. Let me just say that following Chief Wallace is, I was going to say difficult, but it's actually impossible. So eloquent, so passionate, so dedicated. Chief, thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for your deep commitment to getting us to this place today. You've been personally involved for so long, and it's just a great day. What a great day. It's a great day for Ohio. It's a great day for our country. And so many people have worked on this. Let me thank National Park Service Director Sams. Director, thank you for you and your team. The partnership that we have had between the History Connection, State of Ohio, and the National Park Service has been just really unbelievable. We are very, very grateful for that partnership. We're grateful to be able to work so very closely with you. We have that relationship as we work to preserve these 8 sites, highlight their significance for all the visitors who will come here from Ohio, from our great country, and from around the world. And we've already heard that there are people after the designation was made who are planning their trips, and we're very, very excited about that. We thank Megan Wood, the incredible team at the Ohio History Connection, for working so passionately on this Earthworks project. Dr. Brad Lepper, Dr. Brett Ruby, thank you as well. We're grateful for your decades-long dedication to this project, your lifetime commitment to learn more and to understand what happened here so many years ago. In my inaugural address when I was sworn in the second time as governor this last January, I made a point of talking about how important and how exciting this day was going to be. We were optimistic that this designation would be made. And I said at the time, not too eloquently, this is a big deal. You know what? This is a very, very big deal. This is a happy day for Ohio. It's a happy day for everyone who worked so hard on this. As Fran and I have visited these sites, I think the thing that we came away with is just inspiration. Inspiration, as the chief said, the genius that it took to do this. So very inspiring to think about the dedication, the perseverance, the brain power, the time, the cooperation that it took to achieve these sites. The people who built these wonders are, of course, the ancestors of our tribes who are represented here today. And as Chief Wallace has said, those who built the Hopewell Earthworks when she was speaking to the UNESCO World Heritage Committee when they met in Saudi Arabia to decide on the designation, and she has said today, they were not just geniuses, they were uncommon geniuses. And they were indeed. The people of the Hopewell culture are so very much part of our Ohio story. What they did is part of our story. It must be of great pride to our tribes, to our Native Americans, to think of what their ancestors did. And I hope you will forgive us, although not direct descendants as you are, hope you will forgive us as we also claim this is part of our history, and a part of our history that we embrace. We embrace what they have done, and we share your pride in what they have done. Fran and I first visited an Ohio Earthworks site together in 5th grade. Mills Lawn Elementary School in Yellow Springs. We took a field trip to Fort Ancient, Ohio's very first state park. Our children have also had the opportunity to visit. And I can tell you that today we rededicate ourselves to making sure our grandchildren, all our grandchildren have this opportunity as well. One of the great things about being a grandparent. As governor of Ohio, I'm so very proud of these 8 sites now that we collectively call the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks. We're proud that they've earned Ohio's very first UNESCO World Heritage designation, our first. When you think about these sites, they're huge, they're precise though, they're impressive, and they tell a story. Again, to me, a very inspiring story about the effort it took to build these earthworks, one basket of dirt at a time. And think of the teamwork that it took. As the chief said, over many, 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 many years. But the vision to do this, the planning, the great effort, the intentional connection to the moon, to the sun, the years of studying, recording, and passing down what they knew to the next generation to create this. And to me, one of the more also amazing things is how far people came. These sites tell a story about those who gathered at the earthworks, about the materials that came from far away across North America. Mica from the Carolinas, obsidian from Wyoming, Yellowstone, copper from the upper Great Lakes, shell from the Gulf Coast, shark teeth from the Atlantic Ocean. Wow, just absolutely unbelievable. When Fran and I met with a number of Native Americans, tribe leaders, and the governor's residence this past week, we thanked them. We thanked them for their great effort and congratulated them. Many of them, of course, are here today. Some in the front row, some behind me. They represent the Eastern Shawnee tribe of Oklahoma, Shawnee tribe of Oklahoma, the absentee Shawnee tribe of Indians of Oklahoma, the Miami tribe of Oklahoma, the Pokagin band of Patawa Omi Indians. We appreciate all of you, and we thank you. We look forward to our shared commitment as we preserve these archaeological wonders, as we all commit together to educate people and future generations about these places, these wonderful, wonderful, amazing places that their ancestors built. We also have another Ohio project that the chief referenced that we're very, very, very proud of. And that site is in what was called Old Town, Chillicothe, another Chillicothe. It's a site that in 1777 saw about 1,000 Shawnee who lived in that village. Those of you familiar with Greene County, this is close to where Fran and I live. It's between Yellow Springs and Xenia. It's really people came together, an exciting time in history. And we intend in that new state park to tell the story of our Native Americans, particularly the Shawnee who lived at that particular site. It's also the story of the settlers, the pioneers. It's the story of our Native Americans and the settlers who sometimes lived in peace, sometimes did not. Sometimes each borrowed from the other culture. Just a fascinating period of time. And it's a story that we think needs to be told. And so this will be our 76th state park, the first one, really devoted with a real focus on our Native Americans. Many of our other parks tell part of the story, but this will be the first park that really is dedicated completely to tell that story. So we will hope to celebrate that, and we hope many of you will be there in a few months when we have the opportunity to open that up. I want to thank members of the state legislature who are here, who have provided the money for that park, who have also helped with this project. We're very, very grateful for all of you and for what you have done. We call this state park the Great Council State Park, and we'll honor the heritage. And while we focus on the Shawnee, it will also be a place where we honor all our Native Americans. This is a happy day. Again, I want to congratulate so many people who worked so hard for decades to get to this point. And my wish on this day is that the people who come here from all over the world and from Ross County, all over Ohio, all over the United States, wherever they come from, my wish is that they will be inspired by the genius that created this, the perseverance, the long work that it took to create them. They're all inspiring, and I take away today from this, and I hope everyone else who's here today, a new inspiration from the ancestors who went before us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor DeWine. Thank you so much. And it really truly, and he said it before, but I'll repeat it again, we are really lucky to have Governor DeWine and Mrs. DeWine working with us on all these projects. They have really helped to move things forward and champion this work across the state. So thank you. And we have another exceptional person with us today, which is the director of our National Park Service. We are so thrilled to have you here today, Director. Director Chuck Sands is here. He's sworn in as the 19th Director of the National Park Service in 2021, and he's NPS's first Indigenous Director. He is a citizen of the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation in Northeast Oregon, where he grew up. And he's worked for 30 years in tribal and state government and nonprofit natural resource conservation. Director Sands is also a veteran of the U.S. Navy, and it's truly an honor to welcome him here today to Ohio and to Hopewell National Historical Park. Director Sands.
Hello, Anima. Good day, my friends and relatives. My Indian name is Mockingbird with Big Heart, and I come from the place of the Big Springs, which is located on the Umatilla Indian Reservation in what is now known as Northeast Oregon. Now, that was in the Umatilla language, and for some might recognize there's a bit of Nez Perce accent to it. That being said, when I do that is a traditional reading we do in the Plateau tribes, recognizing that there may be people out in the audience who may not just be your friends, but your relatives. And so while I am Native, I also have non-Indian blood in me. My non-Indian blood comes from Richland, Ohio. And there are a number of Samses here, so I say that out there that we may be actually related. So I'm so very pleased to be here. I'm so very happy to be with you all today and to celebrate this momentous recognition. The Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks designation as a World Heritage Site is an invitation for the world to discover the work of the people who once lived here and to learn and draw inspiration from this masterpiece of human creative genius. These earthworks are also an important example of the ancient history of the indigenous peoples of America that help us tell the world the whole story of America and the remarkable diversity of our cultural heritage. We know from our own work in national parks that the histories that we uncover, that we dig deeper about in Native America, tell a much richer history. Well, in the 1970s, when I was growing up, it said that we'd only been here for 10,000 years. And my grandfather would say we'd been here for over 40. By the 1980s, it was determined that we'd been here for 16,000 years. By the end of the 90s, maybe 20,000. And most recently, those that were found at the White Sands National Monument say that we've been here between 26 to as long as 30,000 years. And yet, people are still asking how long we've been here. Ask us, we'll tell you, since time immemorial. As the National Park Service Director and as an Indigenous person, I'm so proud that the National Park Service has a role in honoring those who came before us by ensuring that we carry their story and the accomplishments forward today and into the future. If you will all indulge me for a moment and just close your eyes for a second. Think back in your own mind to the time where you recognize you are learning something new. Think back to that very first moment, if you will, and open your eyes. For me, it's knowing and recognizing the first time my grandfather was teaching me something on a brick explaining a village site of the Cayuse people. An opportunity to learn who I was and where my people were from, to understand the relationship that I had with the flora and the fauna, the opportunity to learn about being a good steward. As you look forward and behind me, you see a great place of learning. You all have an opportunity to come to this natural classroom and teach the next generation about the people that have been here since time immemorial and your own personal history to this place that you all call home. With funds made possible by President Biden's Investing in America agenda, our administration is bringing Indigenous people, knowledge, and perspectives to the forefront of our stewardship efforts. Much of this work is materializing through the historic stewardship agreements between tribes and the Interior Department. These include the co-stewardship of landscapes like Abikwame National Monument, where my mother's people, Spirit Mountain as they call it, came out of when they were born as humans in southern Nevada, and the restoration of the American bison across the great prairie grasslands and shared ecosystem that stretches from Mexico to Canada. The co-stewardship of these iconic cultural resources ensure that tribes have a seat at the decision-making table in meaningful and trusted ways. We know this work is just beginning, but already is making a big difference in how we manage our country's irreplaceable natural wonders with everyone in mind. This designation was made possible through partnerships, so I'd like to conclude with the thanks of the Ohio Historic Connections, Friends of Hopewell Culture, the World Heritage Ambassadors, our wonderful park staff, and the Hopewell Culture National Historic Park, and the larger network of friends and partners who all made this possible. Most importantly, I also want to give special thanks and recognition to the park's nearly 50 tribes who helped make this and preserve this, who continue to tell that story. It was especially great to have the Eastern Shawnee tribe, Miami tribe, the Pocahontas tribe, the Potawatomi Indians, and the Seneca and the Wyandotte Nation in Riyadh last month for the World Heritage Convention meeting when the earthworks were inscribed. And congratulations, and we look forward to continuing this partnership with everyone. because we know that we were only stronger together by telling the diversity of the stories that make us a stronger union, a stronger country. One that is a beacon of light for the rest of the world to see, and that was proven in Riyadh, as it was inscribed here, for the world to come and see this place, to understand who we are as a multicultural, multi-generational, understanding and loving people who protect flora and fauna and the places we love. Kutsiaya, thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, Director Stamps. Those were great reminders. And I'm a little jealous that you all get to look at this beautiful place. And I guess we get to look at your beautiful faces. So, there we go. And so next, I would like to introduce Caleb Knowlton, who's a staff member for U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown. Senator Brown has been a strong supporter of World Heritage, and we're so grateful for that support. So, Caleb.
Hi, everyone. I have a submission into the congressional record to read on behalf of Senator Brown today. I rise today to congratulate the Ohio History Connection, National Park Service, and local tribal communities on their historic achievement of earning Ohio's first World Heritage designation. The Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks join the Yellowstone National Park, the Grand Canyon, the Statue of Liberty, and 21 others as U.S. designated World Heritage Sites. This designation is reserved for the places on Earth that are of outstanding universal value to humanity and will support the protection of the site for future generations. This designation would not be possible without the collaboration of the Ohio History Connection, the National Park Service, the local tribal communities. May this celebration and preservation of the Hopewell Earthworks tell the story of our Ohio history for generations to come. Again, congratulations. Sherrod Brown, United States Senator. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb, and thank you to Senator Brown. And next, I would like to welcome up to the podium. I understand three are going to come up together. Is that right? Yeah. So we have Kelly Johnson from Senator Vance's office. We have Teresa Lewis here, who is here from Representative Brad Wenstrup's office. And we have our Representative Mark Johnson, who's here too. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. What an honor to be here today, and I have some remarks from Congressman Brad Wenstrup to read to you, and a presentation. And I want to address first and thank Chief Wallace, Governor DeWine, Mr. Sams, the National Park Service Director, Jen Altman, and our local fellow, Mr. Chris Alford here. Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks, UNESCO World Heritage Commemoration. It is my honor to recognize the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks UNESCO World Heritage Commemoration Ceremony. The invaluable efforts of the Ohio History Connection and the National Park Service, as well as many other dedicated individuals, have made the designation of the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks as a UNESCO World Heritage Site a tremendous accomplishment and honor for the city of Chillicothe, Southern Ohio, and the state of Ohio. The architecture and construction of these sacred earthworks, designed by the indigenous Americans, geniuses, will be honored worldwide and preserved as a part of our nation's history for generations to come. With UNESCO World Heritage designation, tourism and educational opportunities will be endless in the state of Ohio. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand on this 14th day of October in the year of our Lord, 2023, Brad R. Wenstrup, United States Congressman. And as a presentation, maybe our Chris would come forward. This is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol in recognition of the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks UNESCO World Heritage Commemoration Ceremony at the request of the Honorable Brad Wenstrup, Member of Congress. And we will give them to you, sir. And we thank you so much.
Peterson's sitting out there, and Senator Shane Wilkin is somewhere. But on behalf of the Ohio Legislature, President Huffman of the Senate, Speaker Stevens of the Ohio House, thank you for being here. And I will not bore you with another reading of a accommodation, but this is a special day and a special place. And my district is very special in the history of our state. I think the greatest thing that ever happened to our areas when the state capital was relocated to Columbus, Ohio, because our area would not be the same. We may not even have half of the preservation we have. You want to talk about history, go down to Chillicothe. Mayor Luke Feeney is here. We are a special place, so thank you for everybody that showed up here today, and it's been very special.
I'd also like to invite State Senator Shane Wilkin to the
Thank you very much, and give yourself a round of applause. We've got a great crowd out here today to honor this. So they say you can't move forward if you don't know where you've been, and this is a great way to recognize people that knew this was a great place to be long before we were here. So my name is Shane Wilkin. I'm the state senator for the 17th district, and I have the opportunity and the pleasure and the honor to serve 9.5 counties here in southern Ohio. But it is I have a proclamation as well from President Huffman and myself that, as Mark said, I will not bore you with the reading of it, but it's great to be here. It's a wonderful thing to honor and save this for future generations. So congratulations to everyone here in Ross County and the state of Ohio, as well as the rest of the country and world that now have the opportunity to come here and see these great works. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Wilkin. We also have a number of other elected officials I know are here, state and local officials, and I want to call out two in particular who've been really supportive locally along the way, and that's County Commissioner Dwight Garrett, who's sitting in front of me, and Mayor of Chillicothe, Luke Feeney. So thank you both for the Commissioner's support and the city's support. And next, it's my delight, actually, to introduce Ohio History Connection's Executive Director and CEO, Megan Wood. We've been on a world tour, I think, lately, to Riyadh and back. Megan's been in this position for just over a year now, and I want to just say the name and honor also her predecessor, Bert Logan, who's a huge part of this project for many, many years. And we think about Bert today and thank him for his work as well. And Megan had some big shoes to fill, but she always has awesome shoes, so that's the great thing. And we're really proud to have Megan as our leader. She's been with the organization for a long time, worked in all parts of the Ohio History Connection, and she understands the ins and outs of it. And coming into this role, that was one thing that we knew, was that Megan would step into the CEO role and she would know how important this work is, and she would understand how important our relationships with our tribal partners are, and those are front and center in our work. So, Megan, please come to the podium. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to say thank you again to Chief Wallace, Director Sands, and of course, Governor and Mrs. DeWine, and all of our other elected officials here with us today. The mission of the Ohio History Connection is to spark discovery of Ohio's stories, to embrace the present, share the past, and transform the future. This journey to World Heritage inscription of the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks has really strengthened my resolve and ignited so much excitement for the power of history and heritage, and how it can bring us together in communities and understanding the power of sharing our past. I'm going to give you a little bit of history, which is not shocking. You got the history person up here. But the World Heritage is a program of the United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, otherwise known as UNESCO. And the idea started as early as 1942. In wartime, the governments of Europe, which were confronting Nazi Germany and its allies, met in the United Kingdom for a conference of Allied Ministers of Education. World War II was far from over, yet those countries were looking for ways and means to rebuild their education systems once there was peace again. The project quickly gained momentum and soon acquired a universal charter. New governments, including that of the United States, decided to join in, and there came a proposal, a United Nations conference for the establishment of an education and cultural organization that was convened in London in 1945. It was just after the war had ended when the conference opened, and it gathered together representatives of 44 countries who decided to create an organization that would embody a genuine culture of peace. In their eyes, the new organization was to establish intellectual and moral solidarity of mankind, and thereby try to prevent the outbreak of another world war. The World Heritage Program came out of an international treaty called the Convention Concerning the Protection of the World Culture and Natural Heritage, adopted by UNESCO in 1972. And it seeks to encourage the identification, protection, and preservation of cultural and natural heritage around the world, considered to be of outstanding value to all of humanity. What makes the concept of World Heritage exceptional is its universal application. World Heritage Sites belong to all peoples of the world, irrespective of the territory in which they are located. The Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks are only the 25th site on the World Heritage List in the United States, and our very first, the only right now, but not the only forever, in Ohio. In order to become a World Heritage Site, you have to identify a qualification under one of 10 criteria for outstanding universal value. And this means cultural and or natural significance, which is so exceptional that it transcends national boundaries, to be of common importance to the present and future generations of all humanity. As such, the permanent protection of this heritage is of highest importance to the international community as a whole, that these sites are important for all of us to save. The Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks meets 2 of these criteria, probably more, but we focus on 2. The first is, as you heard today, to represent a masterpiece of human creative genius. The second is to bear a unique or exceptional testimony to a cultural tradition or a civilization which is living or has disappeared. I was fortunate enough to be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia last month and witness with my own eyes and ears the moment that these sites joined the UNESCO World Heritage List. And I've been asked many times since I got back, what was it like? It was incredible, it was emotional, it was an international experience, and like all political processes, it was also somewhat procedural. But overall, it was incredibly gratifying, and I came away resolved that we do our best jobs as stewards for the 3 of the 8 component sites that we manage, and that we make the stories of these places and the people who built them known throughout the state, the region, the country, and the world. Those of us who attended the meeting last month, and many are here today, got to see how important history and heritage is to this global community. Our shared global heritage is a necessary part of understanding what it means to be human and how to be a better global citizen. Many people have been working on this project for almost 20 years, or I've been joking and saying for 2,000 years. And achieving inscription is like a commencement. Graduation is both the end of a time at school and learning and the beginning of adulthood. We look forward to welcoming the world to Ohio. We are commencing into the next phase of work to continue to enhance the experience of visiting these places and making connections to other sites and communities near and in between. I've been saying this a lot lately, but nobody goes to England and visits Stonehenge and then turns around and flies home. They create a full experience of visiting many sites, many cities, many attractions as part of their visit. I, this last spring, went on a trip to another World Heritage Site, Hadrian's Wall, which I've been hearing the joke that men think about the ancient Roman Empire a lot. I think about it all the time as well. I don't know what that means for me, but Hadrian's Wall is the northernmost part of the ancient Roman Empire. the Emperor Hadrian had built the wall to demark the empire and fortify it against the Picts in the north, which were the ancestors of the Scots. It's believed that it took the Romans and those that they enslaved 7 years, give or take, to build the wall, the mile castles, and the associated earthworks. Today, you can hike or bike a path that follows the wall, its remnants, its path, the Hadrian's Wall path, which took 10 years to put together. My husband and I hiked from Corbridge, England, all the way through Carlisle to Bowness on Solway, and we experienced being all through the countryside, staying at bed and breakfasts, eating at pubs, maybe drinking there too, all local businesses, and visiting other sites of interest along the path, meeting the people that live and work near and associated with the World Heritage Site. We bought a 7-day traveler's pass to English Heritage, and we brought home many gifts. It was an amazing welcome, and I came home saying, we can do that here. It might not look exactly the same, but I am so confident that we can meaningfully connect the stories, these places, our landscapes, our businesses, and our people together to show the globe that we are world-class here in Ohio, and we are the heart of it all. The ancient American Indians who built and gathered in these sites came from across all of what we now call North America and brought the objects that Governor DeWine talked about in his speech. And they gathered here and throughout this part of the Ohio River Valley. They came together, met with each other, celebrated, shared food and traditions, probably ceremonies. And almost 2,000 years later, we honor their legacy and their genius and bear testimony to this unique cultural phenomenon. We come together to celebrate our commencement into the World Heritage UNESCO Site status. I'm so grateful to just be one person on this journey with thousands and millions of others along with us. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Megan. So the next introduction is Chris Alford, who is the superintendent of Hopewell National Historical Park. I'm just going to tell a little quick story about Chris. Sorry, Chris. It's a good story. No. So Chris started about a year ago, a little over a year ago here. And there are many wonderful superintendents of the park that we have worked with on this project before. Dean Alexander, one of them is sitting here in front of me now, so thank you, Dean. And Karen Dorn is in here somewhere. Karen's right over there. There she is, Karen, also a prior superintendent of this park. And they're pretty awesome. So, we were kind of like, okay, how's this new person going to be, dropping in here in the last minute of this project. And I tell you, Chris came to his work, came to this site just as we were about to have our big evaluation for World Heritage. So World Heritage is a very rigorous process. There's a lot of evaluation that happens behind the scenes, but then you actually have an evaluator come and visit all of the sites with you and you walk through that. And Chris had been on the job maybe a month, maybe? Okay, 3 weeks. 3 weeks when that was going to happen. And I tell you, I was amazed at how much Chris had learned, how much he absorbed, how committed he was to doing the very best for these places because he knew how important this was, and he has done that every day since. So it is my pleasure to welcome Chris Alford, my friend and colleague, to the podium. Thank you, Chris.
Wow, I need to wipe the tears from my eyes after that one. Yeah, I have to step back and take a deep breath because my heart is filled with so much joy right now to be able to stand here with such a distinguished panel on the stage and be part of such a monumental moment in American history and, more importantly, Native history. Like Jen said, I started this job just a little over a year ago, knowing that I would be part of a team working to push this World Heritage nomination forward. I never realized that it would connect me with some great people, both past and present. It has taken me on a journey of lifetime and halfway around the world. 2023 is a very special year for the team here at Hopewell National Historical Park. On March 2nd, we celebrated our 100th anniversary of being a National Park Service site. On September 19th, we became the 25th World Heritage Site in the United States. There's not much greater honor that you can get than that. Two dates that I know I'll never forget, and I hope that you will never forget. But today is not just about us. Today we are here to recognize two special groups of people. The first is an American Indian culture who 2,000 years ago did something so spectacular that today we are recognizing their work and accomplishments. We often get asked, why here? Who were they? Why did they do this? Some answers are not known, some we do know. Regardless of what happened here, nothing is short of spectacular. They lived in small family groups. They were hunters and gatherers. They planted gardens for additional food sources. But living such a simple life, they created large wooden structures, monumental earthworks that stretched over large acreage of land, some being over 2 miles of earthen enclosure. Mounds up to 33 feet high, 500 feet long, 180 feet wide, to bury their honored dead. They created elaborate earthwork complexes with parallel earthen walls that connected circles, squares, octagons. Repeating precise measurements over the earthworks in multiple complexes over great distances from each other, some as far away as 60 miles. They studied the movements of the sun and the moon, incorporating alignments to the summer and winter solstice, and northern and southern lunar extremes into the earthen walls, often accurate to less than 1 degree. They created elaborate regalia using materials from the earth, working with stone, obsidian, mica, shells, copper, and other raw materials. Creating very intricate designs of birds, geometric shapes, and other patterns. These materials came from faraway places like Yellowstone, Rocky Mountains, Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Canada, the Eastern Shores, Appalachian Mountains, and the Gulf Coast. They connected earth and sky through these monumental earthworks and through religious and ceremonial events, with South Central Ohio being the epicenter of their culture, their influence that stretched most of eastern North America 2,000 years ago. Today, we would call them architects, mathematicians, astronomers, spiritual leaders, artists, explorers, and scientists. But there is only one true word to use, and that is genius. The remnants of their works can still be seen today and are highlighted by the 8 sites that are now inscribed on the World Heritage List. The second group of people are those who have worked for nearly 20 years to recognize the genius of this ancient culture. The ancestors of American Indians living today. They worked countless hours, never taking no for an answer, believing in their hearts that what occurred on these lands was nothing short of monumental. On September 19th, the world agreed and inscribed Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks on the World Heritage List, putting the work of this American Indian culture on the same stage as Stonehenge, the Great Wall in China, Chaco culture, Machu Picchu, and almost 1,200 other sites around the world, highlighting its outstanding universal value to all humankind. I had the honor, too, to be in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for the announcement. Delegates from other countries were telling us that this was one of the best nominations that they had ever seen. and that we had set the bar very high. This is truly a monumental accomplishment in itself. A little story that I was told right after I got here by Susan Nicely, our supervisory park ranger. In 2007, she was asked by the superintendent of the park to connect with local school groups and have the children write their state elected officials, asking them to consider putting the earthworks on the World Heritage nomination list. Those kids are adults today, and I would like them to know that their efforts have played a positive role in making this possible. I'd like to take a minute and recognize one person who would probably not recognize herself. She has spent over 7 years working on this project and the World Heritage nomination, balancing work and family, while leading our executive committees, working with stakeholders and partners, our tribal leaders and representatives. But she still made time to take her daughter to a Taylor Swift concert. So please give a big round of applause to Jenna. So I get to tell a story on her now. Thank you for being here today and helping us commemorate this special designation for the American Indian people, our local communities, the state of Ohio, the American people, Ohio History Connection, the National Park Service, and people of the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. So we've come to the point in the ceremony where I'm going to miss someone I know. I could just say thank you. And we've said a lot of them already, but there are a lot more people out here who you should see and know have been part of this project. And I can't call everybody out by name, or we would be here until 8 or 9 o'clock. It's truly been a group effort. And so I'm going to call out some names and some groups of people, and I'm going to ask some people to stand and be recognized for their work. And I will say that any omissions that I make here are mine alone. It's my sleep deprivation in action. And it's not anything to diminish their contributions. So I first want to start out by thanking the staff of Hopewell Culture National Historical Park and NPS's Midwest Regional staff for hosting this event. It has been a remarkable thing. There have been lots and lots of Zooms planning for this event, and they are just masters of planning. They're just spectacular. It's a joy to witness actually how they make something like this happen, and all the pieces that none of us have to think about, but they are covered just in case. So I would love to give a big round of applause to the staff here and to the Western Connection. And they don't do it alone. We have a number of Ohio History Connection staff here who are partners in this. It's a joy to work with these people every day. And some of them will be in lots of different categories that I'm about to mention here. But I want to call out in particular, of course, our Executive Director and CEO, Megan Wood, who you've just heard from. And then we have our marketing and PR staff have been really involved in this. And they're often the people standing, they're literally standing behind the cameras right now. And there's waving. So our marketing and PR staff at Ohio History Connection, if you would just raise your hand. Thank you all for all you're doing today. There are two people who are not here today who it feels like they really should be. Well, actually, there are lots of people who feels like they really should be. Two in particular from the National Park Service's Office of International Affairs, Steve Morris and Phyllis Ellen, have guided us through every step of this process. The World Heritage process is a little bit convoluted and it's kind of long. And it's great to have people who've been through it before and know what to do And so I am so appreciative of Steve Morris and Phyllis Ellen and all they have done. So thanks to them and the Office of International Affairs for the National Park Service. They do a great job, Director Sands, just so you know. And so when you are working on a World Heritage nomination, you know, it's years and years before you get to the point of actually really writing the official document. We call it a dossier. And it takes people all over the country, and in this case we have people all over the country that are part of what we call our World Heritage Ambassadors group. Chief Glenna is one of our World Heritage Ambassadors. We have folks from around the country and around the state of Ohio. And many of these people are people like Dick Shields, who Chief Glenna mentioned. He's been with the project from the beginning. So I would love to have all of our World Heritage Ambassadors current, you know, even former staff, if you were an ambassador previously at the NPS or at OHC, please stand up. And these are truly the people. Stand up, raise your hands. If you are, see Jeff Keel's already standing. But all the World Heritage Ambassadors, they really, thank you. Thank you. It is dozens and dozens of people who together had this idea and had to figure out how to make this happen, and here we are today. So thank you for all of your decades of work on this project. And then it comes time to actually writing the nomination dossier, which is available publicly on the UNESCO website, just in case you're curious, so you can see it. But I want to call out a few names in particular, and this is the dangerous territory when you start calling out names. But a few I just want to mention. So John Hancock, where is John? John is, of course, in the back. There's John back there. John, he wrangled us. I sometimes call him the cat herder. He would take pieces of chunks of text that didn't make any sense together and put them together and make them make sense. And so tremendously grateful for all of the work John has done and will continue to do with this work. Brett Ruby, one of our primary authors for the nomination dossier. Brett, you know, just say wave or something. There you go. Brett. Thank you, Brett. Brad Lepper, I know is here somewhere. There's Brad. Brad Lepper from History Connection. Thank you, Brad. We have a number of people. So they were sort of the primary writers of the you know, meaty history sections of the dossier. But we had a number of people who were contributing to that. So I've already mentioned some of their names, but if you would just raise your hand or stand up when I say it. So Karen Doran is right down here. Thank you, Karen. Erin Bartlett, who I know can't be here today, but she was a major contributor from Ohio History Connection. So thank you, Erin. Andrew Wyland, is Andrew around? Andrew's back there. Thank you, Andrew. Kyle Smith at Ohio History Connection was our map maker. I love a good map. I love a good map. These maps took a long time, and we really thank Kyle for his diligent work. You cannot apply for World Heritage without great maps. So thank you to Kyle. A special thanks to OSU's Newark Earthworks Center, and particularly Marty Chatt-Smith and Megan Cromwell, who did a whole bunch of research on dossiers that had previously been written, and how can we add Native voices to this format that is so prescriptive. And so I just want to thank the NEC and especially Marty and Megan for their work to help us make that happen. If you ever get to see the nomination dossier, we have quotes from Indigenous people at the beginning of each section, and they were the ones who brought all of that together. So I want to thank them for that. Oscar Fernandez, I believe Oscar is here. Is Oscar around? Oscar Fernandez is a fantastic graphic designer, and so is Aaron Kern. So they took this ugly, ugly Word document and they made it beautiful. And it is a marvel. So thank you to Oscar and Aaron who helped to make it beautiful. And so many others that I'm missing who contributed to putting the dossier together. But I just want to thank all of those folks for helping us make that happen, because we had to physically turn something in. That was our homework. We had to turn it in and it's a beautiful document, and I hope it stands as a testament for a long time to how remarkable these places are. And then to function a World Heritage property, you have to tell the World Heritage Committee how you're going to manage it. And so we have an executive committee that meets every month, at least. Some of these names you've heard before, but I'll just call them out. So Chris Alford, and John Hancock, and Brad Lepper, and Brett Ruby, and Susan Nicely. I'm not sure Susan's name's been said. Susan, are you around here? Susan Nicely, way back there. Thank you. Jerry Dannemiller, who's way back there. He always hides behind the camera. Hi, Jerry. Thank you. Sarah Hinkleman, who is the site manager of the Newark Earthworks and Point Ridge. Sarah is here as well, I think. I don't know where she is, but thank you to Sarah. Back there in the back as well. And Bill Kennedy, who is the site manager for Fort Ancient. Also one of the sites on and on. They're always in the back. So thank you to all of those people. And I want to give a special thanks to folks who are often behind the scenes, and that's our local Convention and Visitors Bureau partners. So I see Melody Young back there, and Dan Motor, and Scott Hutchinson from Montgomery County CBB, thank you. And the entire CBB team, that's a picture back there. Convention and Visitors Bureaus are incredibly important because I am not a tourism professional, right? What we do is we tell people these amazing stories. We help people understand the significance of this indigenous heritage here in Ohio. And then they need to go find somewhere to stay. And so we send them off to our CBB partners, and they take good care of them. So thank you for that. It's so important. So just a couple more, and these are really important. We do have a couple of folks who are not with us at all today. And one of their names was already mentioned, and that is Bruce Lombardo, who was Chief of Interpretation here at Hopewell National Historical Park. And Bruce was a remarkable person, and we miss him very much and wish he was here today to celebrate with us. And then just recently, Chief Echo Cook of the Ottawa tribe of Oklahoma passed away. And we've just had our Tribal Nations Conference this week, and it's a wonderful conference, and there's a gaping hole in it because Chief Cook isn't here. So we think of those two who have passed on and the gifts that they leave with us. And that are part of this work. So just taking a moment to think of them. And finally, I know I have missed other people, but I want to thank anyone I have missed who has contributed to this project. It has been it's a tremendous journey, and we are just at the beginning of another journey. And there's a group of people sitting in front of me who we spent some time together this week and other times. And they are elected leaders and representatives of the many tribal nations that have Ohio as part of their historic homelands. And I just want to say, welcome here. You are welcome anytime, and it feels weird to say that because it's your homeland, right? But I know that there is a long and painful history of removal from this place. And I just want you to hear that you are always welcome here with us. So thank you for being here. And so we have a plaque, right? We have a plaque to unveil. So one of the things that happens when a site is designated as a World Heritage Site is there's an official World Heritage plaque. They take a while to prepare. So we have a likeness of the plaque with us today. And I would like to invite Director Sams, Governor DeWine, Chief Wallace, and Megan Wood to join Chris Alford over here to unveil the plaque for the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks. that's right. And there will be the real plaques will be created and installed, and we'll let everybody know when that is. Each of the sites will have one, and that will be a great day as well. But thank you to Chris Alford for making this happen and creating the likeness, so we can at least show you what it will look like. Thank you all. And so, I think we should enjoy this place. Thankfully, the skies are cooperating with us at this point, and I just want to say once again, there have been so many thank yous today, but thanking all of you for all that you have done and will do in caring about these places and sharing them. So take some time this afternoon before you head off to the next thing to appreciate them. We hope you will visit all 8 sites on this I keep saying nomination, but it's a World Heritage property. I'm so ashamed that it's been so long. Please visit the Octagon Earthworks. Actually, tomorrow we have an open house at the Octagon Earthworks in Newark. And visit the Great Circle and come back here to Hopewell National Historical Park. There are 5 components here that are on the World Heritage List. Visit those, and also come to Fort Ancient in Warren County and see us and learn more about the incredible accomplishments of American Indian ancestors 2,000 years ago. So thank you all for being here today. We look forward to sharing these places with you and all that is to come. So, thank you very much.